Good morning students, hope you all are well. So today we are going to discuss next chapter, that is chapter number 3, human reproduction. Okay, so most of the parts already you have studied in class 10. So let's start. First, what you have to study that the human reproductive organs. Okay, so you know that two main primary sex organs and secondary sex organs are there, secondary or accessory sex organs. So the primary sex organs, these are mainly the gonads, means the testis, and in female that is ovary, which help to produce the sperm cells, or in female that is ovum. Okay, and the secondary sex organs, that is some organs which assist in the reproduction, but they don't produce the gametes, or they does not secrete any sex hormones. Okay, now let's see what is the difference between the primary and secondary sex organs. Okay, so the organs, that is testes and ovary, these are the primary sex organs, and accessory sex organ, most the reproductive ducts and the glands. Okay, now function, these primary sex organ, they produce gametes, either sperm or ovum, and secondary in sex organs, they generally carry the gametes to the site of fertilization, and they also provide the site for the attachment of the developing embryo, which is after fertilization, which has developed. Next, hormone, primary sex organs, they release hormone, they secrete hormone, but the secondary sex organs, they secrete materials other than hormones, not hormones, some other fluids they secrete. And hormonal control, primary sex organs, their growth, maintenance and the function of the primary sex organ, these are controlled by the sex hormones, or and also the gonadotropin from the anterior pituitary. And the secondary sex organs, these are means their growth, maintenance and the functions, these are controlled by the sex hormones that is secreted by the gonads. Okay, means that is secreted from the primary sex organs. Now we'll start the male reproductive system. So this portions also, what is the different parts of male reproductive system, that is also you have already studied. So so each part means the name, like the primary reproductive organ, then second accessory ducts, accessory sex organs, then starting with the scrotum and all. So this names you have to study. Now what new which we have to study, that the microscopic anatomy of testis. Okay, so you know that the testis is the main or the primary male sex organs which produce the hormones, and which the main function of which is produce the sperm or the spermatozoa. So let's see which is the microscopic anatomy of testis. Okay, Acha, this diagram, figure number 3.3, this diagram also you have to practice. Okay, so here it actually the microscopic the diagram of the testis. So we can divide testis into main three layers. First is the protective covering, then testicular lobules, and next is the seminiferous tubules. Okay, so the first protective covering, which is known as tunica. Okay, which is known as tunica. So again we can divide it into three parts. As it is the protective covering, that means it will be the outer layer of testis. Okay, so we can divide it into three parts, that is tunica vaginalis, tunica albuginea and tunica fasciculosa. Okay, so here you can see tunica vaginalis, cavity of tunica vaginalis. Next, here in this portion, the tunica albuginea. Okay, okay, so tunica vaginalis is the outer covering of testis. Next is albuginea, that means it is the fibrous covering inside the tunica vaginalis. Okay, and the most inner part of this protective covering tunica, that is fasciculosa. Okay, that is fasciculosa, which consisting the capillaries. Okay, and which is also supported by the connective tissue. Okay, Okay, so this diagram also you can do, but it is complicated one. Here all the points are there, but in your book all the points are not there, so I have shown this one. Okay, now is the second one, that is the testicular lobules. Okay, so lobules, two types of lobules, that it generally consists of 250 compartments called the testicular lobules, and which contain the seminiferous tubules. Okay, so seminiferous tubules is this portion, this coil portion, that is the seminiferous tubules. Okay, and inside the seminiferous tubule, number 3 point, seminiferous tubule. So inside the seminiferous tubule, the germinal epithelial layer is there, and inside the germinal epithelial layer one specialized cell is there, that is known as the Sertoli cell. Here you can see Sertoli cell is there. So the male germ cells are known as the spermatocyte, means the sperm cell is known as the spermatocyte, and they generally undergo the meiotic division to form the proper sperm. Okay, and Sertoli cell provide the nourishment and means to develop sperm. Okay. Next is the Leydig cell or the intestinal cell, that is actually present in the connective tissue between the seminiferous tubule and some other polygonal cells, and that cell, that particular cell is known as the Leydig cells. What is the function of Leydig cell? They secrete one male hormone, that is androgen. Okay, so they secrete one male hormone, that is androgen, and the Leydig cells are present inside the connective tissue which are adjacent to the seminiferous tubule. Now what is the function of testis? So the most important, that is production of sperm by the process of spermatogenesis, and another one, that is secretion of the male hormones, which is, you know the name of the male hormone, that is testosterone, and which is secreted by the Leydig cell. Okay, so Leydig cell secrete androgens, which is the testosterone. Androgen means male sex hormones are known as the androgen. Okay, so that is testosterone, and this hormone, means this testosterone, help to promote development of secondary male sex organs. Now what you have to study, that the hormonal control of male reproductive system. Okay, so you know that from the, so first which hormone will release? First will release the gonadotropin. Okay, means from hypothalamus, the hypothalamic gonadotropin releasing hormone will release, means the third point. Okay, so first GnRH will release. So when GnRH will release, it stimulate to release follicle stimulating hormone and the intestinal cell stimulating hormone from the anterior pituitary, and these two hormones, when these two hormones are released from the anterior pituitary, it helps to secrete testosterone from the Leydig cell of testis, which help in the growth, maintenance and the function of the secondary sex organs and also the accessory sex glands. Okay, means the sequence will be like this: first is GnRH from hypothalamus, then GnRH stimulate anterior pituitary, it will release FSH and ICSH, and from that it will again stimulate Leydig cell of testis, which secrete the testosterone hormone. Okay, and next is the onset of puberty in males. So you know that the puberty time age in male, that is 13 to 16 years of age. So during this time different changes will occur, that is seminiferous tubules, which that coil portion which is present inside the testis, they start producing sperm, enlargement of scrotum and penis, broadening of shoulder, development of our muscles, means in males development of muscles and bones, growth of hair on the body and face, and also deepening of voice and increase in height. So all these are related to the male reproductive system. Okay, so now we'll discuss the female reproductive system. Okay, so you know the in female reproductive system there is a pair of ovaries, then fallopian tubes are there, vagina and vulva, so these are the organs, and some glands are there like Bartholin glands and mammary glands. So all these all these organ forms a system, that is the female reproductive system. So you can see this figure number 3.7, it representing the diagram of the female reproductive system. So what we have to study here, that is the ovary and the microscopic anatomy of ovary. So where ovary is present, or what is the location of it? So it lies near the kidney in two sides, okay, and it also hanging from the dorsal body wall by a mesentery or a membrane like structure which is called the mesovarium. Okay, now what we will study, that is the microscopic anatomy of ovary. Okay, so actually what is the function of ovary? The most and foremost function, that is to produce the ovules or the Graafian follicle, means the ovum, and it also secretes the two main female sex hormone, that is the estrogen and progesterone. Okay, now this ovary, it contains main three parts, that is the ovarian, or means it is the ovarian epithelium. So you know that epithelium is the outermost part of any organ. So ovarian epithelium, that is the most outer part of the ovary, and it is formed of cuboidal cells, that means it is a cuboidal epithelium. Okay, next part, that is tunica albuginea. So inside the cuboidal epithelium or the ovarian epithelium, which next stage is which next part is there, that is tunica albuginea, and it is differentiated capsule of some dense fiber. It has fibers with some connective tissues. Okay, so in this tunica albuginea, connective tissues are there with the fibers. Okay, and the next part, that is the stroma. Okay, so inside the stroma, the main ovum, or which ovum will develop, so this two part will persist there, that is ovarian cortex and the ovarian medulla. Okay, so inside the ovarian cortex, what is ovarian cortex? So it is a dense outer part of the ovary, means inside the tunica albuginea, it is the dense part of the stroma. So it has some new and the mature follicles, okay, which contains a large yellow yellow cells, which is known as corpus luteum. Okay, so this corpus luteum is actually formed from the ruptured Graafian follicle after the release of ovum, means when during menstruation cycle. So menstruation cycle we will read afterward. But when during this menstruation cycle, when there is the release of ovum, and after the release of ovum, the ruptured Graafian follicle, means already the ovum has released, so the Graafian follicle, or that part that has ruptured already, so from that portion some yellow cells will develop, which is known as corpus luteum. Okay, so this corpus luteum, this secretes hormone, that is the progesterone. Okay, so during pregnancy, this corpus luteum, they secrete progesterone hormone and also another hormone, that is relaxin. So two hormones are there, progesterone and relaxin. So relaxin helps to, means it also released during the end of the pregnancy. Okay, and now next part, that is the ovarian medulla. So ovarian medulla, it contains the oval bodies, which is the ovarian follicle, means the ovum. Okay, so and this portion, this also help in the development of the ovum, and each follicle contain a large ovum surrounded by many layers of follicle cells. So from the follicle cells or from the matured follicle, which is known, mature follicle is known as Graafian follicle. Okay, so you can write Graafian follicle also or mature follicle. So from mature follicle it secretes the estrogen hormone. Okay, so from here you can differentiate that from the mature follicle or from the Graafian follicle it secretes which hormone, that is estrogen. And after the rupture of the Graafian follicle, one yellow cells or one means mass of cells will develop, which is known as corpus luteum. So from the corpus luteum another female hormone, that is progesterone and relaxin, these two hormones will release. Okay, so this is the microscopic view of the ovary. Okay, so this outer part, this outermost very thin part, that is actually the epithelial layer. Okay, that is actually the ovarian epithelium, and inside that there is the tunica albuginea. And in this big cells, these are actually different stages of the follicle. Okay, so here you can see like first is the primordial follicle. You can see it is a very small one. After that primary follicle, then secondary follicle. Okay, here you can see that is germinal epithelium. Germinal epithelium means that is the same ovarian or the germinal epithelium, which is the outermost layer. And next stage you can see that is tunica albuginea. And the stroma part, that this in this big portion, it is follicular fluid is there. Okay, which is the stroma, and inside there that is actually the ovum is present. So here in this portion you can see it is the rupture of the ruptured follicle. That means in this portion the ovulation will start. That means the ovum will released, which ovum is present in this big portion. But in the second one, there the ovum has already released, means during menstruation cycle. So these are different stages and how these are changing. So these are different stages of the follicles. And this diagram, you can draw this diagram. Okay, so another rest of the parts of the female reproductive part, this portion already you have studied, so just read out this portion. Okay, and one thing that is during the ejection or the secretion of milk from the mammary gland, two hormones are there, like prolactin, which secreted from anterior pituitary, and which helps in lactation. Okay, and another hormone, that is the another hormone is secreted from posterior pituitary, that is oxytocin hormone. Okay, which hormone? Oxytocin hormone, which help in ejection of milk after childbirth. Okay, and another thing, that is in mother milk, the first milk after the childbirth is known as colostrum. Okay, so what is colostrum? The first milk after the childbirth is called colostrum. Now the hormonal control of female reproductive system, like it is almost same like the male one, because when there is the stimulation from the hypothalamus, and which will secrete the GnRH, gonadotropin releasing hormone. It helps to stimulate the secretion of FSH, that is follicle stimulating hormone, from the anterior pituitary, which actually stimulate the growth development and the hormone secretion from Graafian follicle, and it also helps to mature the ovum. And now the LH, that is luteinizing hormone, so it will release from the anterior pituitary, which stimulates the rupture of Graafian follicle. That means this LH will stimulate the means the starting of the menstruation cycle, or during menstruation cycle it helps to release the ovum, and means it stimulates the rupture of Graafian follicle. That means it helps in ovulation. So after ovulation it secretes progesterone, means from corpus luteum it stimulates the secretion of progesterone, and estrogen and progesterones, they are secreted by the ovary, which help to control the growth and the function of female female secondary sex organs and sexual characteristics. Now the onset of puberty in female, so the age starts from 13 to 14 years age, and this puberty, that is actually means these are initiated by the hormone that is estrogen, not progesterone, because progesterone afterwards it will release or it works afterwards. So this primary sexual characters and the secondary sexual characters, these are mainly developed by estrogen. Okay, so what are the means changes that occur during puberty? That is enlargement of breast and genitalia, initiation of ovulation and menstruation cycle, and increase of fat in thigh and in our face like this, and some psychological changes also occur. Now our next topic is gametogenesis. So in gametogenesis, two types of gametogenesis. So one is spermatogenesis and one is oogenesis. So gametogenesis means the process of formation of haploid gametes, that means n number of gametes from the diploid germ cell. That means from 2n, the production of n number of gametes. So in spermatogenesis, it is the production of n number of sperm cells, and in oogenesis, it is the production of n number of ova or the ovules in the ovary of female. So first we will discuss what is spermatogenesis. Okay, so spermatogenesis, that means it is the formation of haploid spermatozoa. Okay, that means n number of n spermatozoa from the sperm mother cell or the spermatogonium. So the spermatogonia is 2n after different division, means after different meiotic divisions, there is formation of haploid spermatozoa. So this process of formation of the spermatozoa from spermatogonia is called spermatogenesis. So this process starts at puberty, that means 13 to 14 years of age. Now in the process of spermatogenesis, there is different phases are there. First is the formation of spermatids. Okay, so in formation of spermatid, total 3 phases are there: multiplication phase, growth phase and maturation phase, and after that there is spermiogenesis. Okay, so first is the formation of spermatid. So the primordial germ cell, PGCS means primordial germ cell. So primordial germ cell or the germ cells, they are present in the germinous epithelium of the seminiferous tubule. Okay, so this primordial germ cell, these are the precursors of the sperm mother cell. Okay, so from the primordial germ cell in the germinal epithelium of seminiferous tubule, it forms the spermatogonia or the sperm mother cell. Okay, so diploid 2n spermatogonia will form from the sperm mother cell. So what will be the genetic constitution? Like 46 total 46 chromosomes, so it will be 44 plus XY. As we are discussing about the sperm, that means in males, so it will be 44 plus XY. So 44 plus XY means it is 2n when it will form the sperm or the spermatid, then it will form 22 plus X or 22 plus Y. So it is n number or haploid in number. Okay, so first in multiplication phase, from the spermatogonia or the sperm mother cell, 2 types of spermatogonial cell will develop. One is type A and one is type B. Okay, so this type A and type B is there in your book. So type A spermatogonia, these are the stem cell, or these actually this spermatogonial cell, this is preserved as the stem cell, which will further again divide into more spermatogonial cell. But from the type B spermatogonial cell, that means the type A spermatogonial cell is reserved for that spermatogonial cell only, and from the type B spermatogonial cell, these are the precursors of sperm. Okay, So they move in the seminiferous tubule and enter for a growth phase. Okay. So at that in the seminiferous tubule, these spermatogonial cells are known as spermatocytes. Spermatocytes. So formation of spermatocytes from the spermatogonia is called spermatocytogenesis. Formation of spermatocytes from the spermatogonial cell is known as spermatocytogenesis. Next is the growth phase. So growth phase means spermatocytes which is already formed, so they will grow in size, they will accumulate nutrients, they replicate their DNA, okay, and they form primary spermatocytes. Okay, so in growth phase they are known as primary spermatocytes. Now also they are 2n. Now also they are 44 plus XY. They have no meiotic division has yet occurred up to this. Next is the maturation phase. So in now maturation phase, when they have to develop the sperm, so it will be n number. That means now the meiotic phase will start. So in maturation phase, the primary spermatocyte, they undergo first maturation division, which is a reduction division. That means meiosis 1. Okay, so meiosis 1, two haploid daughter cells will form, that is 22 plus X and 22 plus Y, and these are known as secondary spermatocytes. Okay, so primary spermatocyte is 44 plus XY, which is there in growth phase. After primary spermatocyte, haploid number 22 plus X and 22 plus Y, secondary spermatocyte has formed by first meiotic division. Okay, and they undergo second maturation division and 4 daughter cells will form, that is spermatid, means meiosis 2, that means from 2 secondary spermatocyte another means 4 spermatid will form. Okay, means from each of the 22 plus X they will form 2 spermatids. So total 4 spermatids will form. So this is the maturation phase. Next is the next phase, that is formation of spermatozoa or sperm, and that process is known as spermiogenesis. Okay, so up to this means before spermiogenesis, what we have seen that from primordial germ cell spermatogonial cells will form, from spermatogonial cell primary spermatocyte, then secondary spermatocyte, then spermatid. Now from spermatid it will form the spermatozoa. Okay, so the transformation of spermatid into a spermatozoa is called spermiogenesis. So what changes will occur here? So the nucleus rings, acrosome formed from the Golgi body in spermatid. Axial filament form. Okay, you know that sperm has a long tail, so the axial filament or sperm tail is formed from the centriole, and the mitochondrial spiral, one mitochondrial spiral is formed near the neck region of the sperm. So from mitochondria, and it covered by a sheath that is called Nebenkern. Okay, all these are there in your book. And the cytoplasm, much of the cytoplasm of spermatid is lost, and the remaining cytoplasm forms within a sheet around this mitochondrial spiral, and that is known as meninges. Okay, so this is spermiogenesis. Spermiogenesis means formation of spermatozoa from spermatid. So you can see these are the changes. So first is the means that is, these are actually the stages of spermiogenesis. This diagram is also there in your book. So from spermatid, you can see there are different changes occur. Tail is forming, then acrosome formed, then loss of cytoplasm, then mitochondrial link form. You can see in the maturation phase there is flagella in the head region, acrosome is there, and in the neck region this yellow portion, that is the mitochondrial spiral. Okay, and so at last there is spermiation. So spermiation, what is actually spermiation? So the mature spermatozoa, so from spermatid, by the process of spermiogenesis, spermatozoa formed. Okay, so the mature spermatozoa released from the Sertoli cell into the seminiferous tubule, and so this is called the spermiation. Spermiation means release of spermatozoa from Sertoli cell is known as spermiation. Okay, so this you can see, this is the process of spermatogenesis. First you can see 2n, that is the spermatogonium or the stem cell. After that one mitosis, that is 2n. Okay, so type A and type B. So from the type B I have told that the primary spermatocyte will form. So first meiotic division means it enters the meiotic division, and when the meiosis 1 is completed, so after primary spermatocyte it forms this 2n. Okay, so this is actually secondary spermatocyte, and after that meiosis 2 it formed the spermatid. So you can see 4 spermatids are there, one from each end. And at last which this portion, the sperms, matured sperms, these are the spermatozoa, and which release from the Sertoli cell. Now the hormonal control of spermatogenesis or formation of the sperm. Okay, first you see this one. This one already I have told that spermatogenesis starts on the onset of puberty. Okay, so first is there is release of GnRH, that means gonadotropin releasing hormone. Okay, GnRH, gonadotropin releasing hormone, so it stimulates anterior pituitary to produce two another hormone, that is FSH and LH. Okay, first let's see this diagram. First, in the upper portion you can see GnRH, that is hypothalamus, from hypothalamus GnRH is releasing, and it helps to secrete two hormones, that is FSH and LH, follicle stimulating hormone, and LH means luteinizing hormone. So LH stimulate Leydig cell to secrete the male sex hormone, that is testosterone, and testosterone after that it will help in the production of reproductive develops secondary sexual characteristics and development of other accessory sex glands and organs. And FSH, it stimulates Sertoli cell to secrete two hormones, that is one is ABP, androgen binding protein, and another is the inhibin hormone. Okay, so two hormones, see, and ABP, one is androgen binding protein and another is the inhibin. Okay, and FSH also indirectly stimulate means androgen binding hormone. Okay, so ABP causes, means whenever there is secretion of androgen binding protein and inhibin, so this ABP causes concentration of testosterone in seminiferous tubule for spermiogenesis. Okay, so when inhibin means it will stop the reaction, or it will suppress the release of FSH or the testosterone. So inhibin suppress the synthesis of FSH by the anterior pituitary. Okay, and GnRH synthesis by hypothalamus when there is excess of FSH and GnRH, means when in the male body when there is excess secretion of FSH and GnRH from the hypothalamus, so at that time inhibin released from the Sertoli cell so that they can suppress the release of FSH and GnRH. So that is actually the negative feedback control of testosterone and all other hormones in means in the process of spermatogenesis. Now we will discuss the structure of spermatozoa or the sperm. So this is the diagram of the structure of the sperm. So we can divide a spermatozoa or a sperm into some different parts. So first is the neck, head. This is the head portion. In the middle there is very small portion, that is the neck. After that the middle piece, and after that this long portion, that is actually the tail. Okay, so in the head, okay, so the head has actually two parts, that is acrosome and the nucleus. Okay, so you can see the nucleus is this violet color portion, that is the nucleus, and the upper portion of that is the acrosome. Okay, so first is the acrosome. So it is a cap like structure at the anterior end of the nucleus. So it is present at the anterior end of the nucleus, and this acrosome has been formed from the Golgi complex. Okay, and why this acrosome is present in the head? Because this allows the sperm to means to transfer the nucleus, or to transfer the nucleus inside the oocyte. Okay, next is the nucleus. So it contains the densely packed DNA and proteins, and the DNA present in the quiescent state. Means when the nucleus will enter in the ovum, and after fertilization they combine and form the zygote. Next part is the neck. So it is a very short portion, and there is centrioles are present there in the neck region. Centrioles are present there. So two centrioles are present there. Proximal centriole is in the anterior portion, and distal centriole is in the down portion. Okay, so two centrioles are there, proximal centriole and distal centriole. So the proximal centriole lies in the depression, means the depression at the margin of the nucleus, means after the head only the proximal centriole is present, and the distal centriole lies at the posterior end of the proximal centriole. And this distal centriole, it provides the attachment of the sperm tail, that is the flagellum. This long flagellum is there. Now is the middle piece. Middle piece means this spiral shaped structure you can see in the diagram, that is actually the mitochondrial cloud or the mitochondria, means very huge number of mitochondria are present there. So the middle piece consists of the spiral sheet of numerous mitochondria. Why this means numerous mitochondria are present there? Because you know that sperm has to means they have to travel a huge distance in the female reproductive tract, so that they help for the movement of the flagellum and to move them in the female reproductive tract. And the last part, that is the tail or the flagellum. So it consists of the central axial filament. This as it is a flagellum, so it contains the axial filament, and it is a thin layer of cytoplasm and the plasma membrane, because the outer part of the axial filament that consists of the plasma membrane, and inside there cytoplasm is present. So this flagella help in flagellar movement, and this helps the sperm to means they can travel in the female reproductive tract. Okay, so this is the structure of the sperm. All these are given in your book. So the points like head, in the head 2 points are there: acrosome and the nucleus, then neck, then middle piece, and then the tail. Okay, so which is present there in the neck region, and what is the function of that particular one, that is you have to read.